As a couponer, I have to have these receipts in order to get my rebates back. Not to mention, there's a lot of other reasons why we have receipts. What are we going to do if they outlaw it? Hey everybody, welcome to Shopping with Shana. It is time for another coupon chat, and this one has to do with banning receipts and printable coupons from the register. So this article that we're going to go over was brought to you from Kelly. So Kelly sent this to me in Instagram, and it actually sent me this a while ago, but it's just now I'm having a chance to get around to kind of looking it over. And so we're going to check out the details here. Now, this is specifically talking about in California, which I know is not going to affect a lot of us. For instance, in Kentucky, I don't see this happening anytime soon. But as always, when we see something happen in one state, you do tend to see it trickle down to other states, especially states that lean more politically aligned with states like California. So you may be seeing it coming closer to you if this passes. So this is from Coupons in the News. And thank you, Kelly, for sending me this article. And it talks about state considers banning receipts and coupons again. Now, it was posted on Wednesday, June 14th, so it's been about 2 weeks old here, but it's just looking at how we are going to possibly lose printable receipts that almost everybody gets. I mean, there are some stores that have given you the option to go digital, CVS for one of them. I know I took that off mine and expect a printed receipt, but they did a workaround as far as coupons go. They still go on your account even if you get them printed too. So either way, so that way you don't lose them. But we're going to jump right on into this article because we do kind of all need to keep our eyes open just in case it does start to trickle down to the other states. So at first, you don't succeed. If at first you don't succeed, a cauliflower, oh my goodness, a California lawmaker is trying again to restrict paper receipts in a move that would have some cost consequences for couponers. As we just said, obviously, this would also affect our rebate apps big time because you have to have a receipt to submit to Ibotta. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I never do the, the go pick up that kind of thing, because you don't get receipts anymore. And so if they were to give me a receipt, oh my goodness, don't know that I'd ever walk into a store again. But yeah, I'm not going to do pickup if I'm not going to get a receipt. So that's just how I look at it because I want to make sure I can submit to everything I need to submit to. Ibotta is the big one. Fetch is another one. Of course, there's other rebate apps that require that you have a receipt. 3 years after this bill first failed to become law, Democratic State Assemblyman Phil Ting of San Francisco has reintroduced a measure that would prohibit businesses from providing paper receipts except upon request. Now, that's interesting there, except upon request. So it does look like you are still able to get receipts if you wanted them. The bill has now advanced to the state Senate after passing in the state assembly. But the bill would do more than just restrict receipts. It would also prohibit any receipts that is printed from including items not essential to the transaction. So including, but not limited to coupons and advertisements. And that is where we're going to be in trouble. So you're not going to have coupons print. And the one question I think I do have about this is that I get the coupons on the end of receipts, which we're going to talk about here with CVS receipts. But I'm curious about Catalina. Is it going to affect the Catalina companies too? Because that would be interesting because that's not technically a receipt. So would they be getting rid of the Catalina company? I mean, that's a company. It's a business that they have. So, interesting. So this says that means that would mean no coupons printing at the bottom of your CVS receipt or ads on the back of your grocery receipt, if you even get a receipt at all. It would also mean not having a physical receipt to scan and submit to cashback apps like Ibotta that don't accept e-receipts or in-store purchases. Now, I will argue that if this does go through and California outlaws receipts, Ibotta is going to actually be forced to come up with some sort of workaround, whether or not they're going to allow you to submit, receipts from online or however they're going to do this, they're going to have to come up with some sort of workaround for you. So that's a small price to pay for saving the earth, Ting argues, because, receipts are going to be the end all. I mean, can't you recycle them? I guess. I don't know. I just feel like there's so many things that, are probably hurting the earth, and that the receipts is probably not even close to being the top 100. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I don't know. Anyway, it does say in this digital age, customers should have options. The lawmaker said in a statement, it doesn't make sense to kill so many trees and produce billions of pounds of carbon emissions when we buy a cup of coffee or a pack of gum. That is true. I don't know that I would have a problem with this if it was an option. So print receipt or don't print receipt. Like if it was an either or, you get to decide. Because yes, you're right. If I was going to Starbucks and getting a cup of coffee, I don't need a receipt. Don't even bother printing it, because a lot of times they print and they go, do you want your receipt? No, you just throw it away, right? Or if I do run to Kroger real quick for like butter and I'm not doing any kind of Ibotta rebate, I don't need a receipt. I totally get that. So I do think that would make sense. However, I want to make sure that I'm going to get my receipt when I want to do an Ibotta haul. Ting cited research from the environmental group Green America that found that each year the U.S. uses more than 3 million trees and 10 billion gallons of water to create paper receipts, in the process that generates more than 300 million pounds of waste and 4 billion pounds of carbon dioxide. Now, scooting on up here, unwanted and often immediately discarded paper receipts are a wasteful use of our natural resources. California's Against Waste Legislative Director Nicole Curran says in response to Ting's bill, which simply updates common proof of purchase practices by allowing consumers to choose more environmentally friendly alternatives. As long as it is consumers choose, I don't have a problem with it. If it's a no-go, I do. Okay, that's just my thought. Because there'll be times I would choose not to get a receipt, and there'll be times that I would choose to get a receipt. So I guess that's where I'm at on all of this. I still think Ibotta and Fetch and all of these rebate apps are probably going to have to come up with workarounds, because we are moving more and more into digital age. As you notice, we very rarely use printable or insert coupons as much. I mean, we do use them, but they're not quite. I mean, most of my deals that I share on here are going to be digital or have a digital option. So I think that they're going to have to start moving that way. That's just my opinion. Anyway, the original version of what Ting calls the Skip the Line bill also passed the state assembly back in 2019, but died in the Senate Appropriations Committee. This time around, the revived bill passed the assembly last month and is now being considered in the Senate Environmental Quality and Judiciary Committees, where it's due for its first hearing later this month. So, that'd be interesting to see what happened. Some business groups have expressed concerns about the bill and its consequences. A coalition consisting of the California Chamber of Commerce, the California Restaurant Association, and the California Retailers Association, and the California Grocers Association called out several problematic provisions in the bill. Retailers that check receipts as customers exit their store, that's your big box chains, that's your Costco's, your Sam's Club. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. Sam's Club. Sorry about that. They check every time. In an effort to combat theft, will no longer be able to do so, they argue. And that's also true. I know when I go shopping at Walmart on like Christmas, Black Friday sales, they always check your receipts. And sometimes they still do on, whatever, because theft is bad. Some businesses don't have the ability to provide e-receipts and or don't want to collect customer information like email address due to privacy concerns. There you go. That's another good thing that's concerned. Because what if you can't get a receipt or you can't get a digital receipt unless you put all your information out there? What about the customers that don't want their information on there? That's a good yeah. Okay. There you go. And the related ban on receipt coupons raises constitutional questions as a limit of commercial speech, the group argues. The anti-consumer provision will harm those who use coupons to save money on essential grocery and other items. Okay, let's scoot up a little bit more here. Even some supporters of the bill have expressed some concerns about the coupon-related provisions. Nothing in this bill will prohibit businesses from printing coupons and other information separate from receipts for their customers, the Assembly Committee on Privacy and Consumer protection noted during the hearing earlier this year. So while the author's stated goal of the shortening receipts will technically be achieved, the goal of reducing paper waste will not. Very interesting. So they may just come up with a workaround to just print stuff other than receipts out and hand those out. So, is it worth all the effort? That's very interesting thought there. More retailers are moving towards digital coupons. That's very true, though, as opposed to coming up with more ways to print coupons at the checkout. And Ting noted that some retailers are already shortening the receipts, and this bill is aimed at encouraging others to do the same. CVS, known for the notorious long receipts, added a prompt at checkout last year, allowing customers to pick between no receipt, an e-receipt, or a paper receipt. He said Whole Foods receipts are 50% shorter than they were 3 years ago, and Albertsons, which has more than 100 stores in California, briefly printed coupons at the bottom of customers' receipts several years ago as part of a partnership with Quotient Technology, until the partners parted ways and their initiative came to an end. Okay, so as you can see, stores are already accommodating this digital world. Again, I don't think we need to have a law about it. So I guess I lean more libertarian on this type of thing when it comes to, and I don't like to get into politics necessarily, but since we're talking about this, I kind of feel like um, government should just stay out of businesses. Okay. That's just my personal feeling. Um, and take it or leave it. I know one time I did a video and somebody said they were never going to listen to me again or watch me again because of an opinion I had about government staying out of it. But I continue to stay kind of, that's where I'm at. Government should stay out of it and allow the businesses to make their own decisions. And you can make your own decision. So if the environment is extremely important to you and this is something that you want to do, you can choose to only shop at places that give you the digital receipt option. I'm fine with that. Okay, so under an amended version of the bill, only businesses with the annual revenues of over 25 million would be required to comply. Those that don't could be fined 25 per day up to a maximum of 300 per year, which is honestly a drop in the bucket. 300 per year is a drop in a bucket for a huge business. I mean, that's nothing. That's like 30 cents to them. That probably wouldn't matter. So I don't know that you're going to have them comply. Our unwanted paper receipts contribute to unrecyclable litter and expose us to toxic endocrine distributors such as BPA. Californians Against Waste Policy Associate Chloe Brown said, by simply offering customers alternatives, we can stop a completely unnecessary and wasteful use of our natural resources. I like that. It has to be the customer's choice, though. That's where I'm at. Some might argue, however, that the real waste could be the extra money they're forced to spend after losing access to coupon savings and cashback earnings. Restricting receipts and banning receipt coupons may help save the environment, but for couponers, it could come at a cost. So, yeah. Okay, so I kind of gave you a couple of my thoughts. My biggest thought here, again, is government needs to stay out of private businesses. Government needs to stay out, just stay out of the way. I mean, that's really what I think. Now, as far as the moral aspect or the ethical aspect of the store, I do like the idea of not having to get a receipt. And if the stores can give you an option to print a receipt, digital receipt, or whatever the case may be, I think that is the way to go. I also think that it would be problematic to expect everybody to hand over their information. I know there's people like my father who gets very, very upset about putting any information out there, that he doesn't want anybody to know who he is, where he's at, what his phone number, like he really likes to stay off the grid. That's, I think, an older person thing, but I could be wrong about that. And so, that would be a no-go for him, and he just wouldn't be able to get a receipt. And if he ever wanted to return something, he wouldn't be able to. Now, he also is not one that is going to be submitting to rebate apps, so that wouldn't bother him at all. I don't know. What do you all think? So as a couponer, I don't like it. I want to have the option to get my receipt, but I also don't mind having the option to not get my receipt. I do think, though, like with CVS, I made sure to unclip that of course, I haven't been to CVS in years, so they may have changed it. I shouldn't say years. It's been a long time since I've been to CVS and done CVS deal. However, I had unclipped the choice to just get the emailed receipt. I wanted the paper receipt. However, it wouldn't be a bad idea to get the option at checkout every single time, whether you want a printed receipt or not, because sometimes I go into CVS as a couponing trip and I want my coupons and I want my everything, my extra care bucks and everything. And other times I go into CVS as just somebody that needs to pick something up. And I don't need all that. I just needed like one small thing before I head home. And I don't need my receipt. I'm not submitting to Ibotta. There's, nothing I need from it. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at on those types of things. My other question would be, although it specifically talks about receipt, it does not address Catalinas. So even if you could get around printing advertisements on the back of receipts, that maybe that means that they're going to go to the Catalina company more, and we're going to be getting 15 Catalinas printed every time we check out. And that doesn't save paper either. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you later. Bye, guys.